What's up, everybody out there? Hold on. Hold the phone. Hold the phone. What's up, everybody? Mark Northwest Bourbon. Welcome to another great episode of the Distiller's Perspective. Sorry, I had some crazy audio going on in the background. So we are here for another episode of Distiller's Perspective, where we get to hang out and talk with someone in the whiskey industry and find out more about their spirits. And I won't drag this on any further. I've got Rich from Soldier Valley Spirits. What's up, Rich?
I'm having a great time.
Absolutely. So you guys see the shape of this bottle, right? That's why I'm wearing my kit. All right, so you got your canteen on your kit, and you see the shape of that bottle right there. So I have in my other canteen pouches some Soldier Valley Spirits that we're going to share with you guys. Awesome. All right, so Rich, it looks like you're in the safety of your own home over there.
Right down the basement.
That's awesome. So you're going to have a couple drinks with us tonight?
Oh, of course.
Absolutely. Okay, let me give a quick intro, then I'm going to turn the stage over to you so we can get to know you a little bit better. Those of you that haven't watched previous episodes of Distiller's Perspective, in the description of the video below, if you're watching this on a replay, we're going to put the conversation navigation in the description with hyperlinks to the different parts of the conversation. That way you can jump right to it and get into what you're interested in if you don't have enough time to watch the whole video consecutively, right? Also, stick around if you are here with us live, because at the end of the stream, we are going to have a raffle and give away prizes, and there's going to be at least 2 of you that gets a flight of Soldier Valley Spirits. I hear word on the street is Rich has got a couple things to throw into the pot as well. So stick around for the raffle. How do you get entered into the raffle is the best part. Now, Rich, I did not brief you on this, and so it's going to be fun. We play a game here on this show called the Revolving Door of Questions. All right, we want to keep it focused on you. So we're going to bring on an audience member, or else why have it live, right? We may as well cut it up and make it pretty. We're doing it live so we can include the live audience. So somebody's going to jump on, ask you a question about what you got going on and get your distiller's perspective. And then after they're done asking the question, we're going to kick them right off. That way we can keep the conversation focused on you, or else we're going to end up talking about what kind of car they drive or something like that. No, we're going to keep it focused on Rich, Soldier Valley Spirits, and what's going on in your lane. And if they come on and ask a question, they get entered into the raffle. Sound good?
Perfect.
Awesome. All right, so I've got 2 of your bottles here. I've got the Soldier Valley Whiskey with the green label. It is 86 proof. And I've also got the Soldier Valley Bourbon, which is 90 proof. All right, as you're looking at your screen to the right, you see a little panel that says private chat. If you click on the thing on the top that says comments, you should be able to see a stream of comments of the people that are joining us live. Can you see a bunch of comments over there?
I made my screen a little bit bigger, but I will go exit full screen.
Okay, I'm going to say hi to some people real quick, and then I'm going to hand you the mic. William Reynolds, Vietnam vet, always here, very loyal watcher and participant. I appreciate you being here, William. Big Vic, what's up, buddy? Good friend of the channel. Same with William Hall. Good to see you, William. Old Pirate Bourbon, what's up? What's up? Troy from Baker Drinks. Good to see you today, buddy. Gandy Road is in the house. What's up? And you guys are saying hi to each other. That's awesome. Tater Dom is in the house. Brian's in the house. What's up, Slapshot? And you guys are all saying hi. Tracy's here. Possum Crew's here. What's up, Jeremy? Good to see all you guys that have joined us live so far. I'm going to drop the link into the chat and pin it while Rich introduces himself. Go ahead, sir.
Okay, everyone. I'm Rich Hagedorn. I'm one of the owners of Soldier Valley Spirits. We've been doing this for about 10 years now. And the reason why that Jeff Haddon, myself, and a few others, the reason why we did this is to give back to veterans. That's the number one thing. The idea for the World War II canteen bottle, everyone, when you hear this, is actually a pretty good story. Jeff and I are part of a World War II airborne demonstration team in Frederick, Oklahoma. You guys have got to check this out. You're jumping out of the C-47s. These are the same planes that brought troops into Normandy and Holland in 1944. It's pretty cool stuff. So we're jumping out of these World War II aircraft. Well, part of the uniform or whatever they have, one of the part of the uniform is a World War II canteen bottle, with the shape and all of this, the concave back, all of this, but it's metal canteen. And then of course, all is the chain that goes up to the lid, which we don't have anymore, which was a huge pain in the ass back in the day. But this is the World War II canteen bottle. Well, Jeff said, I got a great idea, because he was in the alcohol spirits world for a long time, working in selling, you name it, he sold it. And so he said, hey, I want to do this thing with bourbon. I want to do this deal. I mean, he had this deal with Jimmy Bedford with Jack Daniels, and he had this dialogue going on with him. And he said, you boys want to make moonshine liquor in Nebraska. You guys got a lot of corn there, and so Jeff talked about this World War II canteen bottle. And I said, man, the chances to make a package with that are slim to none. I mean, the patent, and everything. Well, the patent ran out. We own the patent for the bottle. And so this is our package, a World War II canteen bottle, which it will fit in a canteen. If you got a canteen cover while you're mowing the lawn or something, you could put that in your canteen cover. So that's the shape of the bottle. So we're working this whole thing, and we're creating, our 51% corn, 21% rye, which we were distilling. We have a 700-gallon still. We had other stills too. We're distilling. Now we're in 27 states now, so we have a little bit of help, which you all know. We have help to help us out. But it's neat to see this brand. This is the 4th generation bottle, but to see this brand, I just got back from. I travel a lot. To a lot of military bases. So I just got back from Whiteman Air Force Base, Wright-Patterson Air Force Base, Fort Liberty, which you all know is Fort Bragg. I got a lot of different AAFES, whatever you want to call it, locations I go to. And I enjoy the give back with Lee Greenwood. That's why I'm going to throw him in there too. 2.5 years ago, when we were making hand sanitizer, Lee Greenwood's people saw what we were doing and giving back to Navajo Nation and all these different people we're giving, hand sanitizer to. Well, he reached out, his people went back and forth, some negotiations with Jeff Haddon, and this Lee Greenwood, God bless USA, becomes part of our company. He makes nothing off these bottles. When he's out there singing, when he's out there doing his signature thing, all that money goes back to different I can't even tell you how many different nonprofit veterans groups that we've given to since the beginning. And that's the way it should be. A veteran owned, everybody too. I did 25 years, 24 and some change, but I always say 25 years in the Army. I was very fortunate to have a great career. And I am also 100% service disabled veteran. So I couldn't do this without that. And I just to give back to veterans there's a lot of guys I've seen that have lost legs and had different things happen to them. I want to help out as much as I can, even as a disabled veteran. So that's our company. We have our 6-year bourbon, our 4-year whiskey, which is 99% sweet corn. I have a Navy rum, which I need to get you one of these. This Navy rum, hot water, sugarcane, bananas, and yeast. Bananas, that's your starch compound. This is delicious. I make mojitos with this and Navy rum. It's pretty cool. And
that's it. It's just 4 ingredients.
That's it. And then this.
What?
This is our vodka. This is one of our number one sellers when I'm out and about. This is ultra pure, less than 1% impurities. This is something else. So I sold today. There's a grocery store in Omaha called Hy-Vee. I sold what I sell tonight, 19 bottles. I was only there for a couple hours. Well, I sell a lot of the bourbons. I sell a lot of vodkas, but I really enjoy going to these military bases. When I go to these military bases, like we talked about earlier, it's really neat to tell your story and listen to you, everybody's got a legacy, from the Vietnam veterans. When I was a young kid, I remember reading books on Vietnam, the Vietnam War and different things. And I just was interested in that. I always knew maybe like you too, I always knew I wanted to be in the Army. It was my dream. And there's a lot of things that my recruiter didn't tell me the right thing. I think all of us could say that.
No.
I was like, my recruiter, I mean, I spent the best part. I'm almost done talking. I didn't take a shower for 57 days during the first Gulf War.
Oh, goodness.
And I always tell people, what clothes do you think we put on after those 57 days? The same shit we were wearing for the last whatever. But that was part of the deal. And a lot of things that we spent so much time out in the field as an infantryman, 11 Charlie. But you know what? That's what you sign up to do. It was a great life. I loved every bit of it. But now devoted to giving back to veterans with Lee Greenwood, our team, traveling. I got to get out to you. And I'm traveling to Texas here in a couple weeks. So Cavazos, which was Hood, Fort Sam Houston. I got Lackland Air Force Base. So a lot of these places I go visit, and it's neat to sit down there, sell our bottles, and have a great time and give back to veterans.
That's awesome. You got anything poured yet?
I'm just gonna drink right out of the bottle.
Nice. I love it. Just like you do your old canteen.
Right out of the canteen.
All right. Well, hey, cheers to you, Rich. Thanks for being here tonight.
Cheers.
So all of you at home, I put the link in the chat. Feel free to jump on and ask any questions you want. Rich, you said 11 Charlie. That's a mortarman on the infantry team, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Did you do that for all 25 years?
No, I did that for the first 8 years, and then I was an instructor for a lot of it. But then also, instructing. Let's talk about that. We talked about teaching with us. I taught ANOC, which was your E6 to E7 course for 2.5 years. BNOC, I was a young E7 at that time, so young sergeant first class. And I had these older people too, and they're like, "You're the instructor?" I'm like, "Yep." So BNOC instructor. I taught PLDC for a while, and I was an assistant branch chief and a senior instructor for your warrior leadership course, which now is, I think it's BLC now with the Army. I enjoyed it. Here's the one thing too about leadership. Leadership is sharing what you know, and you know that. And I didn't want anyone to fail. I mean, I tried. I gave my 100%. I'm one of those instructors. I didn't want anyone to fail. But you know what? There's some people that it just didn't work out. But I really did what I could to make sure that they were successful. Most of these guys are going to Afghanistan, Iraq, all of this. So I made sure that things were squared away. I ended up becoming the Hall of Fame for the academy out there, which most of the people in the Hall of Fame, they're dead. So I made that wall of a bunch of dead people, but I'm proud of it, and so that was cool. And then I was an Intel guy. So I was an information operations IO guy. I went to Norwich University in Vermont. That was a tough course, but I was going to Gardez, Afghanistan, and ended up getting called off. But I did that, the Intel world for a while, and I enjoyed that. That was really cool. Going to Korea, going to any of the veterans out there have been to the FROCA headquarters in Wonju, South Korea. It's one of the coolest. It's an underground bunker. It's 7 stories down to withstand nuclear device outside. But that FROCA headquarters, you're really seeing what's going on in a fake battle against North Korea. And that time was Kim Jong-il, who's dead now. And it was neat to see where he was at, what was going on in the whole different scheme of maneuver, and how we were defeating the North Koreans fast. It was a fake battle, and they have these foul eagle things and whatever. It was a really cool operation. It was fun.
That's wild.
But being 11 Charlie, I'm telling you, 11 series. Okay, 11 series, 11 Charlie is the smarter. I'm going to make a lot of people mad out there. It's the smarter of the 11 series. So it's the smart guys who are in the 11 Charlie deal. They've
got to calculate things.
It was fun. It was a good MOS. It was a good job. It was a lot of fun.
Tully, thanks for jumping in. You and Tracy. Dan, what's up, buddy? The Joker's in the house.
Cheers, everyone.
Eric, what's up, Eric? William Hall again. Tully said he tried to find the bottle on the way home, but no luck. So Tully, jump on and ask about that distribution. John Cloud, what's up, buddy? Z-Man, how's it going?
This is really cool.
Yeah, dude, it's a blast.
I did a podcast with my friend Dr. Ken Brown, which is called The Gut Check, and he's an internal doctor, and he's one of the if you remember back in high school, you had that guy in high school that was so wicked smart. He would look at the periodic table of elements, whatever, and have it memorized, like looking at it. Me, it took me weeks to memorize that thing. Infantryman, how about that? So but he was so smart. Now he's a doctor, and he has this podcast, and I was on it. It was supposed to last 30 minutes, 30 or 45 minutes. It ran an hour and a half. So
nice.
It was fun because he's an old high school friend, but he was so. I love this too, and you know this how people are when they're like, "Oh my God, you're joining the service. What are you thinking? What are you doing? Why don't you go to college with us?" And there's girls there and whatever. Hey, heck, just like all of you, and you, I want to serve my country. I want to. It was funny about the recruiter. I did get station of choice back in the day, and I chose the 101st Airborne Division and became part of the Always First Brigade 327. And it was neat. So that's one of the things the recruiter didn't lie to me about. But it's neat that you have these stories, a lot more stories than a lot of your friends. I mean, you tell these stories about going to Honduras along the Nicaraguan border, and you go to Sharm el-Sheikh. I spent time in the Sinai. I spent 2 different deals down the Sinai teaching BNOC and WLC in the Sinai and Sharm el-Sheikh. So I tell these stories about the Red Sea and scuba diving in the Red Sea. And my friends are like, that are really into scuba diving. They said, you know where you're at? You're one of the top places to scuba in the whole world. And I was like, well, I was paid to be there. So they're like, man, the Army's so cool. Man, wow. I'm like, yeah, the Army is pretty cool, I guess.
Yeah, it absolutely is. Oh my goodness. Sean is in the house. Sean, I hope I get to see you. You as well, Z-Man. Thanks for being here. Yeah, that's one of the benefits I got jumping around. Well, I only went to and from Afghanistan, but the 4 times I went there, it seemed like we stopped in a different series of countries each time, whether it was Germany, Ireland, Kyrgyzstan, Romania. Got to stop in a bunch of those places on my way to and from Afghanistan. I didn't really get to be paid to be anywhere else than there. And
isn't that neat too when you tell your friends about where you've been? When I said I've been to Iceland, Iceland was green and Greenland was ice.
Greenland was ice, yeah. Oh my goodness, William Hall is in the house. What's up, buddy?
How's it going?
It's going great.
William.
How are you doing?
So I'm a civilian. So thank you for your service, both of you.
Brother.
Right.
And the homage to World War II and the canteen style, the packaging is just spot on, man. That's awesome. Yeah, dude, I'm a huge World War II fan.
I mean, is that close or what?
So I have not here. I have some of the old metal ones. It's in the other room. I think it's in one of the boxes, but it's neat as I had a great uncle that served in World War II in the Battle of the Bulge. And he did not, and you've heard this before, William and Mark, I know you've heard this before. They didn't say anything to their kids about what they did, but he talked to me about it. And he was with the 101st Airborne Division, and he was talking about the SS officers, and he was taken POW for a short time. And then once we started advancing, then they let them go. But he said, I thought I was dead, and just hearing the stories about, the hardships that those guys had. Holy cow. But I would love to follow the footsteps of, the 101st Airborne Division, or follow those going through Germany all the way up to the Eagle's Nest. How cool would that be?
Oh, that'd be really cool.
Yeah, my ex-wife, her grandfather, he was missing this finger because he made the mistake of lighting up a cigarette, and a sniper got him.
Oh my God!
Oh my goodness!
And he was literally taking a draw, and it just whizzed by his head and took his finger off.
Lucky.
Lucky.
That's the
Jeez.
only story he would tell. That's the only thing he would talk about.
One good story. I met all those guys from the Band of Brothers. Remember on HBO a few years ago?
Yeah.
I met, it was 1994. They're having a reunion in Omaha, Nebraska. And so I was at that time, I was part-time with the Guard. So the Nebraska Army National Guard, this is in Omaha. So here I am. It's a great story. Here I am. They're like, hey, we need to do a flag deal. Like, you got the state of Nebraska, you got the American flag, 2 rifles, we're going to plant the colors. We're going to do all that stuff. And like, Rich, will you do it? And I'm like, man, like it's a reunion with a bunch of World War II guys. I'm like, yeah, what the heck? Out of respect from those guys. I was like, yeah, I'll do it. So then they said, well, also it comes with a free dinner. I'm like, that's even better. 24-year-old kid. I'm like, yeah, let's do this.
Feed me. Yeah.
I ended up going to the Holiday Inn, and then I met all of them. I met all the guys in the Band of Brothers. And the neat thing about this was, I love this story. They said, we watched you when you were doing, because they saw the combat patch, the Screaming Eagle. And they said, we watched you when you were during the Gulf War in 1991, the 24th of February, 1991. We were really cheering for you guys. And it was neat to hear Schwarzkopf call you guys the lightning of the storm. And I was like, I got chills. I thought that was the coolest thing. But all those guys were there. And the one thing is they were so tight. And to see those guys, those World War II veterans, and they're all gone, right? I mean, most of these guys are all gone. It was neat to see them have a reunion, but a lot of them did not have those reunions afterwards in the 50s and 60s and even in the 70s. They didn't start really getting together till later on, a lot of them. But it was neat to hear their stories and everything, and their love for this country. It was just to think about it. I wish I would have spent more time with them, and it was pretty cool.
Yep,
that sounds really cool. That would have been amazing to meet all them.
So my question is, and I know this is just a so generic question, but what is the one bottle of bourbon or whiskey that you enjoyed the most?
All right. So you hate to get on that Blanton's deal, whatever, and sometimes some Blantons. I've had friends of mine. They go, hey, Rich, look what I got. I got this a lot of stuff, whatever. And I've had Pappy. Some of the old stuff, which is okay. But some of the Blanton stuff, I've liked that. The one that I had, the whiskey that I had, the Knob Creek smoked maple. I drank that with some friends. I'm telling you, that's really good stuff. I mean, wow. I tasted that. I'm like, this is really delicious. The one that I had, what was that? Trying to think what I had with some friends. It's neat. I'm a whiskey guy. When bourbon, I love this stuff. Way back in the day, even when we were in Kentucky, going to places, going to Jack Daniels, and we had the VIP tour at Jack Daniels and Miss Bobo's, and I've gone to a lot of distilleries, but I'm trying to think of the one that I really liked the most. And then for bourbon,
let me make it a little easier. Of your juice, which one?
All right, so it's funny. Like this is like our bourbon. It's a 6-year bourbon. This right here is about 3 barrels, blended all together for this guy here. 51% corn, 21% rye, 90 proof. I sold some today. We sold out. I do have 102 proof, single barrel of the same, just of the barrel of our bourbon barrels. So I love this bourbon. This bourbon's really good. So I wish William, where are you at anyways?
Indiana.
So I just drove through Indiana just a couple weeks ago. Military bases, getting around military bases, and we're branching out. We're getting, even though we've been doing this for 10 years, we're going to get there. Whiskey, this whiskey here, it's 99% sweet corn. So
nice.
When you have a corn, it's going to be, even though it says 86 proof, this is 90 proof. You're gonna taste this. And then there's one thing. So this bourbon, to answer your question, I do love this bourbon. This bourbon's great. When I sample it, I tell people to lick the glass. It's so good, you want to lick the glass, and people do. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding around with them. Oh, they're licking the glass. They're like, oh my. I was like, well, I'm just kidding around, but they like it a lot. But yeah, that bourbon's really good. We've had this recipe, and this recipe's been ours, but there's something cool I got to bring up. There is a family history on my side, on the Hagedorn side, of moonshining. So my grandfather, John Hagedorn, he was born in 1904, died in 1989. When he's a teenager, they made 99% sweet corn whiskey. Sweet, and then that was their deal. And they had barrels they got from somewhere, and then they were selling to Kansas City and selling to Chicago. So they were making in West Point, Nebraska, kind of, close to Omaha, but they knew the authorities. My grandfather said it was very easy. We made a lot of it. We made a lot of juice, made a lot of whiskey. So that was 99% sweet corn whiskey. Then that's the German side, Hagedorn. On the Sicilian side, how about that? Because I'm I did my genealogy, whatever that thing is. I'm 50-some percent, 57% Sicilian and 30-some percent German. On the Sicilian side, my family in the Sicilian mafia in the 20s were like that. They were the people selling it. So they sold a lot of that. It's funny to hear about history of your family. Yours, what maybe the Hall family had something to do with, prohibition stuff. You never know. But it's neat to hear these stories about how, the recipes for certain things have been 99% sweet corn. So it's fun to dabble around in this stuff. One thing I love too is I love rye whiskeys. A really old 12-year rye whiskey is delicious. I mean, Mike, I'm an ice fisherman, as you can see from the back of my. I'm from Nebraska. I love to go ice fishing. So I love to bring, I got a couple different jars back there I have of 12-year rye whiskey. And that's what I'll sip on with my special friends, which when you have a company like this, you have a lot of friends, really like it. But
in a big trunk.
It's neat to have an old rye whiskey like that. And then a wheated bourbon. I don't know how many, we had a 75th anniversary of D-Day bourbon, which was a wheated bourbon. It was really good. And having that heavy wheat in there, it's delicious.
Yeah, so I'm predisposed to drink because on my mom's side it was German Irish, and then on my dad's side Scottish.
Oh, that's cool.
So, yeah, that's a bad mix.
But my grandfather, the still that he had, he didn't have any column stills. They're all pot stills.
Yep.
And what would he do? He liked to do his mash. So the mash that he would create was a lot during the summer. They did a lot of their distilling during the summer months and everything. And then he talked about in Nebraska, the cold winters, the yeast and stuff that they used, whatever. Sometimes you get too cold, but he liked the summertime and everything. And even as a teenager, he had that old still, and it was a pretty big still. We're talking, it was over 150 gallons. So
wow,
it's not like we have 700. We had 700 gallon stills, whatever. But this still here, I think what happened is I think it all got. I mean, once they sold the farm. All the tin went to one place, the copper went to another place, steel went to, all that, even the tractors, they sold all the tractors to scrap them for the steel. So all that stuff, that was when I was young. I wish I would have kept that because I would have had it as a decoration right back here. Yeah,
my great grandfather and grandfather had a still, and it all disappeared many, many years ago, but it
was all dinged, all those, they all get dinged up and it was dents all over it. But that's character. And it was neat. Yeah. I wish I woulda, coulda, shoulda, I should have said, hey, I don't do anything with that. I'm going to use it later on when I get in my 50s. As a teenager, you don't think about that stuff.
No.
But, talking about, mash bills, doing the rum. And this is funny when you're making rum. We do an amber rum, which we put in our used bourbon barrels. But it's neat when here I am. I got a couple college degrees, and I'm in this huge basket. I mean, I go to Sam's Club or I go to, wherever, and I get all these bananas. And here I am, I'm doing these bananas and throw them in the deal. I use the same knife, and I'm cutting these bananas up, and then we're mushing them up and everything, and then we're throwing them in. We have an agitator, and it smells great. I mean, it smells hot water, super hot water, bananas, and we start pouring on all this sugar and everything. It smells great. And then after we get our temperature down, you pitch the yeast, and then about a few days later after that, man, it's gross. I mean, some people might like people go, what is that smell? What's the smell of money? And then, it only takes, it depends on your heat and everything, but it doesn't take that long. And then before you know it, we have separators and everything, goes right in our still, zip that thing up there. And then our column stills, we've gone through a few different stills. The Hillbilly stills at Barlow, Kentucky, we still have 2 of those. They're 50 gallons. And if you ever get your hands on one of those, they're magical. You could make some great shine. You could make some great liquor with those. They're all electrical. There's 3 electrical heaters in there. They're easy to replace. You buy the parts at Lowe's, Home Depot. If they all burn out, whatever. But it's neat to watch that column and look at those looking glasses, and you could see it working up. Yeah. And next thing you know, you got that cloudy force shot. Then you got your head, your heart, and your tails, and you could see everything. And it's neat. So we have a couple of those and everything. We got a couple other stills and everything. But yeah, it's a lot. I think it's fun to dabble in this stuff. And I think it depends on your state. Like, I don't know what it's like in Indiana, what it's like in different states, but I mean, you could own a still and you could have so much personal stuff. My friend that lives in Massachusetts, they have a still there, and they could distill so much in Chappaquiddick, Massachusetts. Yeah, it was pretty cool. And so I liked his yeast strains he had. He wasn't using no turbo yeast and stuff, making fuel. But yeah, it was really cool to see all the different chemicals he was putting in, and he had it dialed in, and I was pretty neat. To talk about this stuff. And
I'd love to get a small still and try it, but if I take on one more hobby, I'm going to get divorced. So,
William, you're right. Because this ice fishing deal, see, I take out wounded, disabled veterans hunting and fishing. So this deal here, people think this is crazy when I go, like Nebraska, it's in the middle of everything, that. But I go up there to the northern areas of Minnesota, and I go up, I'm part of ice fishing. There's a couple competitions I'm part of, but I love it because we're in shacks and we catch fish. My wife, who's sleeping right now, she thinks it's crazy. And as a waterfowl hunter, one more hobby, as a duck and goose hunter, you know how expensive that is and how much money I've thrown into that goofy hobby and with boats and everything. But it's fun because it keeps you out of trouble. And the distilling thing later on, it's something I want to mess around with. The weeded, more. I like the wheats. I like the Ryes. The Ryes is softer grain. But those kind of things, it's a lot of fun. But yeah, you're right. One more hobby. Oh shit.
Oh yeah. It's over. I'm done. I've already had one divorce. I'm not going through 2.
Oh my Lord.
I can't afford it.
Oh yeah.
That's awesome.
So
cool. Thanks, William. I put you.
And one thing,
William, I put your name on the wheel, William. So at the end of the stream, all the people that jump on, their name is getting on the wheel. So at the end, we'll do the raffle, and whoever is on the wheel, they're gonna get a prize.
And
William, your first name on the wheel, buddy.
Yeah, and also too, I'm gonna send some T-shirts out, and we have a few of these, and we have these in red, and it's got our cross sabers, everything. I got a couple. I think they're cool T-shirts. So it's neat to get them out there. You're wearing it out in Indiana, and people are like, "What the heck is Soldier Valley? What's that all about?" And a lot of people buy our stuff online, soldiervalleyspirits.com. But we got to get to these military bases. We got to, the closest one to you. I know Ohio is a little ways away, but Patterson, or if you know anybody that's there, and then we're getting there. Fort Knox, Kentucky. Places like that. It's not that far.
Well, I go down there for work. So, yeah.
if you know some people and you could buy from there or get some guy to, has a military ID. That's the tough thing too, is here I am at Lackland Air Force Base, and these parents that had a kid that just graduated from, their Air Force, basic training, they can't buy. They're not if they're not retirees, if they don't have that green ID or that retired ID card or VA service disabled deal, they can't purchase. So they get mad at me. They're like, well, I want to buy a couple bottles. And he goes, well, can I meet you in the parking lot? And I'm like, I can't do that.
That's not how it works.
Not how it works. But
luckily I got a couple ins, so I'll find somebody.
Yep.
May cost me a bottle, but it'll be worth it.
Cool.
Absolutely. All right, William. Thanks, buddy.
Thank you very much. Mark.
Take care, brother.
Thank you.
Hang out. We might have an after party.
All right.
All right. So, Rich, one thing that you brought up is how much you like rye. Do you guys have a rye whiskey?
We do, but we only have, I would say, maybe 40 bottles left. That was one of the things that Jeff purchased when we first opened. So, it was a 12-year rye. So he purchased that long before the company was called Soldier Valley Spirits. So we've sold that, and I think we sell at the distillery for $129. And I mean, it's the same bottle, 12-year rye. Like I said, we sell the heck out of it. But I think I got to look at what we're going to do in the future, what we're going to do. But that's something, right now with AAFES and with NEXCOM, the Navy Marine Corps Exchange Service. So it's pretty much these guys, and then some places we got the vodka. Rum, even though it's called a Navy rum, we're going to get that into the NEXCOM, the Navy Marine Corps Exchange Service. But it would be great to have that 75th anniversary D-Day bourbon, which will be the 80th anniversary next year, having that. And then, having another high rye, 90% rye whiskey, and get some old barrels in, and then do something special for, I don't know, V-Day in Europe. I don't know. We do something cool, I don't know. There's all sorts of ideas we're thinking about.
I love special edition bottles. If it's a brand that I like I see special edition bottles for brands that have had their no more stuff that I don't care for, and it's whatever marketing. But if it's a brand I really like if Soldier Valley had a special edition, 107 proof 10-year-old bourbon, I would buy a bunch of them.
That 75th anniversary, gosh, I don't even know. I should have had that out. The guy, you got to look that up. I wish I had a bottle for you, because the wings of the C-47, how they had the black and the white.
Yeah.
It has them on there, and it says 75th anniversary D-Day. We did that a few years back. It was a sexy looking label. So we do something similar to that, and we're only going to do so many bottles. And once those bottles are gone, the 80th anniversary of D-Day, and then we're going to do something. I'll talk to Jeff Haddon about that. And there's all sorts of ideas that we have. We have a distillery in Omaha. I mean, a distillery. We have a sample tasting room, party room, whatever, in Omaha. And so we have people come in there every once in a while, and they always ask about, why aren't you guys doing a caramel apple whiskey? Well, this is the first year that we're traveling. I've been all over the place selling to AAFES locations. Who's got time for that? So we had a caramel apple whiskey, and we had a blackberry whiskey. The blackberry whiskey was really, really good, at 40% alcohol at 80 proof. But it was time. You get it. We got to focus on this here and get these bottles out to AAFES, NEXCOM, and all that. But yeah, specialty items. I mean, there's some ideas out there, but I love that 80th anniversary of D-Day bottle. I like that. So the whole deal.
Yes, no, absolutely, 100%. You got to do an 80th anniversary. I am gonna do something just improvised off the top of the dome real quick. I'm going to put out a poll, because you're talking about people coming in and having lots of ideas. And I have talked to a lot of distillers, and I've been in a lot of conversations with people about whiskey just in general. And when it comes to some of those ideas, like having a caramel apple flavored whiskey, there's a lot of there's a type of demographic that would really appeal to, right? But here on this channel, there's a lot of whiskey enthusiasts, right? Like a lot of people that, you know, have huge collections, spend a lot of money on a lot of whiskey because we just absolutely freaking love whiskey, right? And so when it comes to your enthusiasts, I'm going to put a poll in the chat. What is your favorite special release? Okay, so I'm going to do a unique finish. And I'll do your caramel apple, a flavored whiskey.
You know, I'm going to grab this really quick. I'm going to show you. I have one of the 12-year Ryes back here. I want to show you the color, what it looks like, because rye doesn't color like a corn whiskey does. But wait till you see this. Hold on.
Okay. Because I want to get all you guys watching this live, and if you're watching this replay, throw a comment in the chat below. If you got to give your advice to a distillery, like if you're going to put out a special edition, I want it to be like this, because what we've been seeing a lot lately is the special edition will not be high proof, but it will be high age and it'll be finished, right? And that's not always what I'm looking for.
Oh my God. I wish I could beam this over to you. This is
dude,
this is a 12-year rye. It's 12-year rye right here. And this is the bottle that I came in. I just got mine.
It came in the mason jar?
No, that's just me, which this is the bottle it came in, but it had a different sticker on there.
That is freaking fantastic. I love it that you're like, let me pull out this awesome old bottle and you pull out a mason jar. Wait. Hold what you got. Let me solo you for a second. There you go.
So yeah, that's rye right there. This is a 12-year rye.
Operation Desert Storm 30th anniversary. Oh heck yeah, dude. That's an awesome personally engraved bottle. That's
just beautiful. But yeah, this is 90 proof right here, and I gotta have another drink. This is that good. I haven't broke this open in a while, but this is delicious. Proof. You know, 12 years is that's an excellent amount of time to age a rye whiskey like that. My God. I'm not going to share this with anybody.
Okay. All right, so I'm gonna drop this poll in the chat. Now, a lot of unique finishes that we see is like Blood Oath and stuff like that, where they'll put out some crazy finish, and that's it. It's not a high proof, it's not a high age, nothing like that. There's flavored whiskeys, like how he was talking about getting requests for. All right, high age and high proof. Like, so you get like a 15-year-old, like 120 proof, or you get a high age and a finished one. So like what we've been seeing with Master's Keep lately, or brands like that, to where they'll put out a special edition and it'll be old and it'll be finished, but it won't be high proof, right?
Gotcha.
And so if anybody in the chat or anybody watching this later have any other things that it's like, man, I really wish that I had one of these, then throw it in the comments or vote on the poll and let us know what you like, because this is something I'm really passionate about. Because Rich, you've heard of some places doing finishes in maple barrels or honey barrels. They're delicious, but they come out at like 86 or 90 proof. There's only been one time that I tried one that was cast strength, 117 proof, and it's one of my favorite bottles on my bar. Because the high proof cuts.
What is it?
It's a Taconic. It's a single barrel pick. like 117 proof, finished in a maple barrel. It's freaking fantastic because the high proof cuts the sweetness, but it's not an artificial sweetness like the Knob Creek maple. You know what I mean? It's a natural maple, like an all 100% organic maple syrup flavor, as opposed to an inorganic. Holy crap! Did I just see Ben the Demon Hunter? Oh, the Ben from the north, Ben from Canada. What's up?
Oh, sure,
What's
you
up,
bet.
Yankees? What's up, buddy? Oh, Michelle's in the house. Wanderberg, it's good to see you. I'm glad you got in. We were just talking about making special whiskeys. Michelle has a great whiskey collection. I would love to hear your opinion. Z-Man is in the house. What's up, buddy? It's good to see you.
Hey,
cheers, Rich. How you doing, brother?
hey, good,
Trader
man.
John's
How are you?
cheer.
Doing pretty good, man.
So, I'm drinking it. Simone, I'm drinking a 12-year rye right here. This was a special edition we had even before we had a distillery all done up. I can't believe how delicious this is. And I always talk about the color. People go, well, it's not that for 12 years. Well, rye doesn't color as much as a corn whiskey does.
Yeah.
We all know that. And I just forget how delicious this is.
Yeah.
I'm jealous, huh? So, yeah, I'm going to need a sample of that.
Color's not everything, though. You know that.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely. As
So,
we've
Rick,
seen with the sonic aging stuff.
Rich, I want to ask you one question. My dad's a World War II vet. I grew up as an Air Force brat. He retired from the Air Force Base down in Tucson, Davis Musson Air Force Base. What made you said the company's 10 years old, right?
What was that again, sir?
When did the brand start? 10 years ago?
The brand started 10 years ago. Jeff Haddon, myself, there's a couple other guys. We had this idea going back almost 20 years ago. And there was some distilling going on. And there was some stuff I could talk about it and hopefully not get in trouble. But Jeff was doing some things. We all were doing some stuff. But the biggest thing is Jeff Haddon had the dream. He's like, and he was talking about, hey, I want to go to Jack Daniels. We're going to be VIP guests. We're going to go to Jack Daniels. And he knew Jimmy Bedford, who's deceased now. But we went to Jack Daniels. We went to a couple different distilleries, and he just had this dream. And he's like, I want to do this bourbon thing. And I'm like, well, you can't make bourbon in Nebraska. You can't. And he's like, no, hold on. President Taft, talked about it's got to be 51% corn. It's got to be distilled between 140 and 160 proof. Got to go in a brand new barrel. It's got to be aged more than 2 years. Got to be made in these United States of America. And I was like, well, and President Taft was a Supreme Court justice. You find out all this information, and you go to these places, and the whole thing then starts to go. And so,
wow.
Jeff had some friends of his that he was talking with that were actually making and producing stuff, and he starts buying barrels. This is great. We don't even have a brick mortar building, nothing. And he's buying barrels. And I find out about this. I'm like, what are you doing? He goes, dude, I got my hands on a 12-year rye. No, I'm sorry, it was 10-year. Yeah. We aged it. And so I have my hands on all this. I got my hands on this. Since he worked in the alcohol distribution stuff, and he worked with RNDC and Republic, Johnson Brothers. He worked with all these different people and sold everything. He told me Fireball. Jeff told me that Fireball, they couldn't give that away. They couldn't give it away. I mean, It was garbage. Now, holy today I was selling stuff.
It flies out the door. Yeah.
And then, and Pappy and all these different brands, they couldn't sell it. They couldn't, all these things you can't get now. And so he says, if you could name it, I could sell it. So Jeff, he would give me bottles. I love, like we were talking about earlier, I love whiskey. So Jeff would say, hey, Rich, I got this new whiskey. You got to try this. You got to try this. And so he's like, I want to do this for a business. When are you going to retire from the Army? And I said, well, right now I'm at 20 years and I could retire, anytime. But I want to do a little bit more. There was always that dream of making E9, Sergeant Major, Master Sergeant, whatever.
Right.
So I said, well, he's doing the stuff, he's distilling, he's showing me these things. He's got the mason jar. He's like, hey, I've been aging this and this deal, and I got this wood and this thing. He had all these different ideas. And next thing you know, he's like, we're going to do this. When are you retiring? I said, I'm going to retire this summer. And so that was in 2013. And then it really started going. And then when the supermarkets all wanted our stuff, so you start local, when the supermarkets wanted stuff. And you got to remember, I don't know if you were listening earlier, this is a 4th generation bottle. Our first bottles were a hammered glass that were made in Mexico that actually had a chain for the lid, just like the World War II deal.
Oh,
I'm telling you, what a pain in the ass.
yeah, but before they switched to the plastic lid retainer,
everything.
Oh, look at that!
Yeah, they used to have the chain one.
So now,
right?
you know what? I might have one of those.
I forgot about that.
Hey guys, I should have been more prepared. I'm sorry, but
no,
now
you're good. You're good.
This is so much easier. This is Soldier Valley.
Yeah. It doesn't matter. It really doesn't.
This is, oh my God. And this is outstanding. So we get this thing going, and next thing you know, it really takes off. And I love the story. This is a good one, guys. I'm working in teleradiology when I first got out of the Army, because Jeff was really starting. He couldn't pay it. And I had to make some money, guys. I mean, I'm a retiree and everything. I had to make some money. So I'm working in teleradiology. I'm not a radiologist. I'm just a sales guy, but I'm selling for these doctors. It's a good story. So these guys are paying me a good amount. And so, I mean, a good amount. They're going to actually give me a raise too later on, but I'm selling teleradiology to these places that, an urgent care center. They take an x-ray. It's got to be read by a doctor. So they do it after hours. They go, it's a clean break. It's whatever or this. Well, what do you know what I'm saying? So I'm doing all this, and I go to the doctors after working there for a year for this company called Real Radiology. I say, hey guys, I'm going to put my letter in of resignation. They knew I was doing this stuff with Soldier Valley, and I had some involvement with it and everything. And the doctor said this. The story's almost over. It's a good one. The doctors say this. The doctors go, hey, we're really about to give you a raise. What are they paying you there? What are they paying you? And I'm like, not a fucking thing. Jeff said, I just need you on. I could give you some ownership of the company. I give you some shares, whatever, and I could pay you as time goes on. So here I am. They thought, these doctors thought I was nuts. They're like, well, we thought you were a lot smarter than that. But look at this now. I mean, we've been doing this for 10 years. We're having fun. I just saw the CEO of AAFES, the Army Air Force Exchange Service, Tom Scholl. I just saw him, his second in charge. They gave me some military coins. I could grab them. But we're starting to get this relationship going with the NEXCOM, the Navy Marine Corps Exchange Service, and the Army Air Force Exchange Service. That's really a big deal right there when you're selling to veterans. And I want to get into Indiana. I want to get into a lot of different places and everything. It's tough to get a distributor in that state. But it's funny to see a brand grow from the crawl, walk, run to today. I mean, I like what we're doing. I met some great people tonight. I go down to Texas in 2 weeks for Fort Sam Houston, Fort Cavazos, which was Hood, and then Lackland Air Force Base, which is a training base. So I'm excited about going to these places and seeing more, military people, and then people they love. They go, that is really cool, and they're like,
that's cool.
And they go, this is cool, but they love that every bottle we sell, there's a portion of this going back to A Hero's Wish, Moving Vets Forward, AMVETS VFW DAV. There's all sorts of them. When I brought up the World War II Airborne Demonstration Team in Frederick, Oklahoma, giving money to them. So it's just, there's a lot of different nonprofit veterans groups, but that's what you have to do. It makes you feel good to give back. So when people, not to interrupt you anymore, but when people look at the bottle, just knowing, there's some good juice in there, but it's the give back. That's what really counts. And I wish it was more. Lee Greenwood, like if you listened earlier, he doesn't make anything off the company. All that money goes back to veterans. That's a huge deal. I mean, God bless the USA. I love that guy. He's great, but that's pretty cool.
No, that is really cool.
It is. That is.
I don't know I don't know if there's any other celebrity that endorses a whiskey that doesn't make a dime off of it.
Yeah. Or they don't divulge it. That's the other issue. But the fact that you're actually giving back and you're telling it to us, it
Right.
makes us understand where the company's going. And that's cool.
You guys,
He does it because he believes in the mission, kind of thing.
Yeah. And that's a
Right.
cool thing, man.
And the only involvement he really has is when you guys go places, he goes and sings and stuff, right?
so he'll sign bottles, but at the ALA conference, the good one, he's singing "God Bless the USA," and these are sales guys from Del Monte to Coca-Cola to Hershey's chocolate. They were people from all over the place. There was a guy that was crying right in front of you. I love that song, and to have that guy sing in front of me, because he does it to a lot of veterans, and yes, he's got his shows, but he said that he goes, I just broke down. And he was from he's from Florida. But he goes, where do I get this in Florida? And I'm like, well, military bases. So if you know somebody that is at MacDill, if you know that's by Tampa, call them, have them pick you up a bottle. You can't go on base. And he's like, I'm going to get, so met some really cool people.
That's one of the things we were talking about before. One of the awesome parts of going and talking to people about whiskey, just like military veterans, they just love talking. They love telling stories. And when it comes to whiskey, we could just talk about it all day and have a great time in that camaraderie type of community.
And then on a sad note, a friend of mine passed away from cancer I served in the military with. And what happened is they took the bottle of bourbon, and the family, they all had shots out of it, and they left the last part of the bottle. And it's in John's. So the bottle's in John's coffin right now. And John was a really cool guy. I remember seeing him, and he said, and you've heard this all before. He's like, man, I'm beating the cancer. I got these, I forgot, injections he's taken and everything. It's making him feel better. And he goes, I'm beating this. I'm like, man, I pray for you every day. And then that can't, you heard this so many times. It sucks. The cancer came back, took him out. But yeah, he's buried with that bottle of bourbon.
Oh, man, that's rough. The false hope makes it rough, like rougher.
Yeah.
But man, that's really meaningful that everybody in his family had a pour of it, and there's a pour in there for him that buried with him. I like that.
It says Chief Warrant Officer John Ayers, barrel-aged warrior, and what I put on there, and I got etched on there. We have a laser engraver, which we do those dog tags, but this is laser engraved. So we got like this, and then you have the air assault wings on the back.
Oh, nice, yeah.
People love that stuff.
Oh yeah, big time.
The etching of the bottles, I've seen where like this is etched right, like what we saw earlier. That's etched in there. But think about this: you own that bottle. Take that label off, and then take it to engraver, and to Colonel so and so, thank you very much for your service, and give that away as a bottle, as a gift in gold etching. That's pretty cool. That silver looks really good on that one. So
I completely agree. That's a great, classy looking bottle right there.
Yes.
But yeah, drinking, toasting old friends and all that. I get together with some of my old Army buddies, and we always do a toast to friends and all that. And it's something about the bourbon. It's something about the whiskey. It's something about you taking a nice, awesome, beautiful, strong shot of something and doing a toast to a friend of yours that you had. Those things. It's neat.
Yeah, it is.
I agree. Awesome. Hey, Z-Man, thanks for coming on. I added you onto the wheel, so at the end of the show, you will definitely be in the raffle. And so far, you and William Hall are in the lead.
Awesome.
All
right. Cheers, buddy. Talk to you soon. All right, so I just looked at the poll of what your favorite special release is. If it's a unique finish, flavored whiskey, high age, high proof, or high age and finished. Unique finish has 12%. So like the Amberana finish and all those other unique finishes that are going around lately, people like those. 12% of people, that is. 0% voted for flavored whiskey. 69% high age, high proof. And so if you've got something,
I'd agree with you. Yeah, agree with you 100%.
12 years old and 115 proof, that sounds freaking delicious. High aged and finished is creeping up at 19% right now. It was lower, but the last couple of votes looks like went to that one. I need to pour your. So just to reiterate the mash bills. So the green label, the whiskey, this is 99% corn, correct?
Sweet corn.
99% sweet corn. That's all I've drank all night tonight is this one so far. So I'm going to transition to your bourbon. Your bourbon is 90 proof, and you said it is 51% corn?
21% rye.
21% rye. And so the remainder is all barley?
Yep.
Okay. All right, I'm going to switch over to that one because I have not had any of that tonight. I've been sipping on that sweet corn whiskey all night, and it's been tasty.
So when I do my sampling, when I go to places, I put about this much in that little sample cup, and it seems like that's it. That bourbon, people love that bourbon. They love the taste of the bourbon. They like the proof of it. I like it at 90 for a bourbon. I think it's perfect for. I like that.
Well, I know that Ben and Matt from Whiskey Crusaders and JD, a few of you guys came in late. So old canteen with the canteen cup. Then you've got their bottle right here, and you see how they made it like the exact cutout. It's a lot of fun. He was talking about how one of the other earlier editions of the bottle had the retainer for the cap, just like the old canteens. Dude,
I hate to be off screen. Give me 30 seconds. I know I have one around the corner. Give me a second.
Okay, no worries.
I gotta find this.
Let me see. Respectful. I love shopping at the Class 6. Hey Matt, I'm assuming that's you. So they've got a deal with AAFES, right? The Class 6, the PXs, the gas stations on post. That's where I see this. Almost every place on post on the military base here has Soldier Valley because that is their main distributor. That's who they are mainly working with. And so if anybody has base access or you have a friend that has base access, you can just roll passenger, show your ID while they show their military ID, get on base and buy some of that because that's their main distributor right now. Are you rolling with any other distributor besides AAFES?
Well, with Nexcom, AAFES, and then RNDC in a couple different states. We have Quench, which does Budweiser. They have that. And then, what we have in Missouri, we have, I can't, maybe it's too late. It's only midnight here, 12:04. I can't even think of my Missouri. There's a couple of different distributors that we have. And I can't, it's funny. I got a bottle display over here. I have a lot of these, which I thought you thought was kind of funny. But I think a couple of those other ones I got in boxes because I'm just kind of saving. Yeah. I'm saving them because I think that some of those first bottles, those hammered bottles, I think they'll be good later on. Will be really good gifts for people. Going, this is number 5. It's number 5. It's the 5th bottle that came off the line. So Jeff's got a couple. There's a guy, Tom. There's a couple of guys, and then I have number 5, the 5th bottle that came off the line. I have no idea. I think it's in a box somewhere. So I'm sorry. Yeah. I should.
So that kind of stuff is really cool to me because I'm a whiskey enthusiast. I'm a nerd with this kind of stuff, and as a collector and an enthusiast, that kind of stuff is really freaking cool to me. And a lot of people that watch this channel, they'll agree that kind of little things like what bottle number you have and other things like that. It's cool. knowing what barrel number it was or what date it got dumped, what date it got distilled, having all those details is stuff that we like knowing.
You know what I used to do too, which was kind of fun back in the early days, not much now, but I used to have bottling parties. So I would
Yeah.
grab a bunch of military people. So every bottle that was going across the line was bottled by sergeant majors, first sergeants, master sergeants, first. So one thing I would do is, okay, you could have so many drinks because the labels we put them on by hand, and so I don't want them to get all cattywampus and all.
Right. You're gonna put the label on crooked.
You're cut off.
Yep.
Well, so we had bottling parties, and then I'd get pizza in, and then whoever, let's just say this, whoever bottled with me went home with a bottle. We don't do that anymore, but the bottling parties, I miss those. I mean, this is before COVID. So we had some great parties. Guys come in, we had a lot of fun. Holy cow, I miss those times. But I'd grab there would be 10 to 15 volunteers that would come in, and most of these guys I all knew, and then we would just bottle away. I mean, we're talking you could fill a pallet, 80 cases, 86-pack cases. You could fill 2 pallets with our machines in about 4.5, 5 hours. 2 pallets. It's a lot of bottles.
Yeah, that is a lot of bottles.
And so yeah, I mean, there were some fun times back in the day. That was a blast. And then, going back to the COVID deal, when we were making hand sanitizer, that was wow. One thing I learned about, basic chemistry in high school, which I never thought I'd ever use, using all the chemicals that we had, and then also too with the hydrogen peroxide. Hydrogen peroxide. Yeah. I wonder why these guys had these gloves. Well, that stuff gets on. I mean, you have a watered down hydrogen peroxide in your cupboard.
The stuff in the brown bottle. Yeah, I do.
The stuff that we were putting in, with the mixture of everything. My gosh! But that hand sanitizer, we gave that a lot of weight to the VA hospitals around here. Even down to Kansas City, Omaha, Sioux City, all over the place, Des Moines. So we gave away a lot of stuff. So it was kind of fun to turn a distillery into making hand sanitizer.
Yeah, so, there was a few distilleries up here in Washington that were doing that as well. That turned a big portion of their facility into making hand sanitizer, which I thought was really cool.
At that time, also, you got to remember in the beginning of that COVID stuff, you were like, oh, shoot, you're watching the news. You're like, oh, my gosh, and what the heck's going to happen? And so we were ramrodding that stuff out like you wouldn't believe, and hospitals are picking up. And so that also, too, catching the eyes of Lee Greenwood and then a lot of different people, too. It was a terrible thing that happened, but also, too, a lot of people, the recognition that we got for that, too. And as a company, one thing too about Soldier Valley Spirits, we're all about faith, family, and service to country. And, a lot of us, our families, Jeff's families, my family, there's a long history of military service. So it's just us, saying thank you to the greatest generation and to the people that served in Iraq, Afghanistan, the Gulf War, Panama, Grenada, Vietnam. It's for them, and giving back to them too.
Yeah. Well, it sounds like you've known those guys for a long time, and just like one of my questions was how you transition. Because I'm still in the Army currently. I'm still currently enlisted, even though I went from active duty to the reserves. I'm still enlisted in the Army, and so the transition from being Army to working in the distillery. You said that you got out of the Army, you started working for this other medical thing, doing sales work, and you knew Jeff from back when you were active duty?
So I knew him way back in National Guard time, so a long time ago. So I knew friends of him that served with him in the National Guard, and so this is funny. What is think about all the people that you meet in the military, and. Yeah. And there's some, it's a motley crew of crazy people. And and there's some normal ones, and what, but it's funny as how you come across. You guys, you have something in common. You guys served in the military or whatever, and it always comes back to. I'm 53 years old. All the people that we met in the military and all these years, and then, even in the people that I served in later on, but I'm friends with most of these people. I mean, friends of mine in Nashville, Tennessee, a good friend of mine, Jeff Reynolds, he helps sell our stuff. He has, he talks to people. He goes to Smyrna, Tennessee, and sells there. He helps sell there. My friends in South Dakota, Minnesota, my friends that live in New Hampshire, which we need to get our butts out there. This would sell well in New Hampshire with their taxes and everything. It would be great. But it's neat that the networking that we have in the military, all the people that you met all these years, and they want you to, I think it's like I said before, I want you to be successful in what you're doing, and you should do the same for me.
Absolutely.
And I think the military, you work as a team to make sure, as the way I see it, make sure we all shine, and I'll do whatever it takes to make sure that your business is doing. I think this is great tonight. And when I found out that you're a veteran and everything, and I was like, okay, I'm on. I usually go to bed at like 10:30. Don't laugh. So that's Central Time.
I'm not laughing.
This is fun. I mean, this is great. What is it? 12-12, whoopity-doo. We're having a great time. But, but helping each other out, that's what it's all about. When I left the military, I wanted, there's a lot of things I want to do, but the entrepreneurship, I thought that was kind of a cool thing. But you got to make, it takes a while to start generating money. When you start something like this up. I think if anybody out there wants to start a distillery, you better have about $2 million in your checking account before you really get into this thing. I mean, that's now. It didn't cost us that. It's just, it costs a lot to get this thing rolling. But it's funny is what to do when I grow up. You did the military career. What do I want to do? There was all sorts of different options and everything, but the entrepreneur deal is cool. But being in, once again, because you're kind of still doing stuff with the military and helping out with AAFES and NextCom and talking to people, but I want to do something that helps veterans out. If it's something that gives to nonprofit veterans groups or something to help out veterans, help build a home along with Bass Pro Shop and Lee Greenwood or whatever, help, this is something I want to do. I mean, there's a lot of stuff out there, friends that do a lot of different things and they make a lot more money than I do, but it's not about the money, doing something that's fun, rewarding. And what I want to say someday is I helped start that company with a friend of mine and I sold a lot of that stuff. And look at it right now. It's on the shelves here, there, and it's just a dream, but you never know. This stuff could be on the shelves next to Angel's Envy and a lot of other brands and everything. I've seen it military bases, but it'd be neat to have it as a brand out there and, be a household name like Tito's. That'd be cool. But you take time to build everything, but the give back and knowing that you help create something to help out veterans, that's what it's all about.
I absolutely agree. When it comes to supporting fellow veterans, 100% agree. That's why not many people are aware of this, but this series that we do called Distiller's Perspective is strictly limited to distillers here in the Pacific Northwest, so local craft distilleries or veteran-owned spirits. The only time I interview people on this show that are not in the Pacific Northwest is if they are a veteran-owned whiskey brand. And so that's, if you're not in one of those two categories, you don't get on the show. I'm sorry, but you don't. And because that's who I want to spotlight, that's who I want to support. And I don't make the rules, but I do. So there.
But you do.
Yep. Absolutely.
What you're doing is a great thing. This is great. And then, I got to send you some T-shirts. I don't leave out of town for a couple more weeks, but just tell me what some T-shirts, and I got some whiskey stones I could send your way. And just let me know. I'll get a little love box put together for you.
Oh, that'd be sweet. If you've got any of that, what do you say? The 103 proof, that special release you have, or that mason jar of the 12-year-old. Anything you want to send up here for you. I see Bad Axe Bobby's in the house. Bad Axe Bobby Bourbon. He is an Air Force veteran, and he's an active firefighter. Great guy in California. Bobby, I'm so glad that you're here watching along with us today. I hate to say this is my second dram of Sack Daniels. Single barrel 47 isn't letting me, not connecting. Feels like not flavor. Yes. All right. So, Ben, I think that whiskey, kind of like music, is kind of like a mood setter. And so if like you're in a certain mood, you turn on the wrong type of movie, wrong type of music, or grab the wrong class of whiskey, you're going to taste on it or listen to it or watch it and just be like, this isn't what I'm feeling right now. And I've got to say, transitioning from your 99% sweet corn whiskey, I just transitioned. This is my first glass of it for the night, to your 6-year-old 90 proof bourbon. This has a lot more robust, dark flavors in it than the 99% corn one does. And so it's really mellow, and like it's more the mood of what we got going on right here.
And it's 6 years old.
Yes. 6-year-old 90 proof bourbon is
And I love this too. We always say we got your 6. We got we got the 6-year bourbon. We got distilled 6 times vodka, and we got your 6. We got your back.
I got your 6. Yep.
You got your 6. I always tell that story that the enemy's at your 12 o'clock position, your 6. People love that. The non-military people, they go, that's a cool concept. That's really cool. Like, yeah, we got your back. That's the way it should be.
Well, yeah. Well, in any squad maneuvers, as you know, but for those people at home, when you move as a squad, even if it's a small fire team of just 3 or 4 guys, you have one person who it's their job every 5 to 6 paces to look back and make sure you're not, being followed, being ambushed from behind. Now, whether it's a 3 or 4 man small fire team, or if it's a huge platoon or company size element, there's people assigned to watch your 6. So you're going forward to the 12 o'clock, your 6 behind you, there's people that are watching your 6. And so that's what that whole thing means is I got your 6, like, I will watch your back, buddy. You don't have to worry. I'm behind you 100%. And I freaking love that you guys infused that and included that in your bottling and your whole message. Hold on, I can show. Let's see, on your website, which before we went live, I put the link to your website, the link to your Instagram. I put all that stuff in the video description, so anybody watching it can check that out. But look, so this is their webpage, right? And so right here on the truck pulling the trailer, it says we got your 6 right there.
I'll tell you what, guys, driving that thing, that's 50 feet. It's a 50-foot trailer right there. Driving down the interstate, we get more people that honk their horns, give us the thumbs up, or like that. And people go, that's really cool. And I'm telling you, if we were moonshiners and we were selling that stuff out of the back, we could sell a ton out of the back of that deal. People, hey, can I buy a bottle from back there? I'm like, God, we really don't have anything to sell. Oh, hold on. What if you guys have the 75th anniversary of D-Day? What if they showed that? No, it's.
I got a bundle pack. I've got apparel and accessories. So tell me if say I want to click on this special edition True American Bourbon here, right? And I want to add to cart. How do I know if they ship to my state?
That's not my deal there.
Okay, so
I know
like
that.
I said, this isn't my first rodeo. I've talked to a bunch of different distillers about this. One thing I advise is that when you go to the shop, have there be some kind of map or a link. That way, before someone starts shopping, they know if it ships to their state. Because I, at firsthand experience, have gone through, like, kind of debated on which bottles I want, added to cart, blah, blah, blah. And then, like, spent all this time and, thought process thinking about what I wanted to purchase from this company. Then when I go to insert my address, it tells me it's not available in my state. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
And so just notes to hire. If right where when you enter the shop, if there's a map that says these are the states we can ship alcohol to, but merchandise, we can ship it wherever you are, something that gives me an idea before I spend my time shopping, if I can get it or not. You know what I'm saying?
Gotcha.
But yeah, I like your website. It's very user friendly when it comes to the different chapters, like the different links that you click on. And the picture of the truck in the front is a lot of fun. And the 6 in the middle, like I just talked about, including that, I got your 6 message in your main presentation. I love it, man. Absolutely love it.
That truck, I like the truck that when we take it to places, we have a big blow up, gigantic canteen bottle. And let's say we set up at Fort Liberty, Fort Bragg, North Carolina. We'll set up and, we'll get people. We have all of our t-shirts in there and we sleep in there. My bunk is at the top.
Oh, yeah.
Jeff's down at the bottom and in the back, because it's actually, living quarters. There's a shower back there, bathroom, all of that and everything. So it's funny is, hey, I'm a conservative Republican, everybody. So I'll put my Fox News on every day, watch Gutfeld, whatever. I got my TV back, my little, I got that whole top there where the truck's at. That's my room. So I got my room there, I got my bed, everything. So yeah, I get my TV going, open up a bottle of, put a little bit of rye or whatever I got, wheated whiskey or bourbon. I'll sit there and have a drink before I go to sleep. But it's actually nice. But it's neat to travel in those the big old deals. But driving that thing it's a strain. I probably got more gray hair driving that thing around.
Oh man. So I just want to throw another reminder out there. We've got a bunch of people still watching us live, and you guys are very active in the chat. And I absolutely love it. Thank you very much for being here. Having a great time just chopping it up with Rich, talking about military, talking about whiskey. Those two just go hand in hand very, very well. So I just want to remind you guys, we are going to close down the live stream pretty soon. And so if you want to get entered into the raffle, there's flights, there's t-shirts, there's all kinds of great stuff to win in the raffle. All you have to do is jump on live and ask a question, and you're in the raffle. And that's going to close up pretty soon. And before we get on to the next subject, let's visit the poll real quick. We've got 20 votes in the poll. 10% say they like a unique finish in their special release. So if they have a brand that they like and they're putting out a special release, it being a unique finish, 10% of people like that. 0% still for flavored whiskey. High age, high proof is at 70% now, and the high age and finished is up to 20%. And so we're going to end that poll so we have it documented in the chat before we take off the live stream. Still got a couple people hanging out.
I will take this all down. I will follow this lead. I'll talk to Jeff about this tomorrow.
Awesome. So there was a comment earlier about 13th Colony. Have you heard of them?
No, I have not.
13th Colony, guys that are watching us live, correct me if I'm wrong. They're in Carolina or something, or Georgia. 13th Colony's in Georgia, right? Correct me if I'm wrong. pretty please and thank you. They have an annual release that is high age, high proof, and a double oak, to where they don't, mess around with wines and stuff like that.
Yeah.
They just finish it in a second barrel to give it that extra rich flavor. And I'm telling you, people would climb over a mountain of zombies to get that thing, because it's like 130 proof and 10 years old and finished in a second barrel, and it's just delicious. So new 13th Colony is a banger, double oaked. Yeah, it's 130 something proof and it's 10 years old. Yep, high age, high proof, and finished. So it's a combination of all the things that we want and like. Absolutely.
Double oaked bourbon whiskey. Limited release.
Good stuff out of Georgia. Yep. America's Georgia.
That is a sexy looking bottle.
Oh, absolutely, man. And I'm telling you, it sells out in less than 5 minutes of being released, because I was on the email list and I didn't make the cut because it sold out in 5 minutes.
Southern rye whiskey.
America's Georgia. So where's America? Because I was born in Douglasville, Georgia. I don't know where that is in relation.
I went to basic training at Fort Benning, Georgia.
Oh, right on.
Oh, guys, if you guys could hear one quick story.
No, yeah, go for it.
When I was at basic training, this is a great story. At basic training at Fort Benning, Georgia, we're all in the firing line. We're going to fire our rifles. Remember basic training, you got to qualify with your rifle to pass basic training. So you're in these culvert looking things, these poles in the ground, got your sandbags here, got your rifle, you're ready to go. Hagedorn.
Now you said a culvert, like what goes under a roadway to make sure the road doesn't get washed out when.
But yeah, this way it's like it's up and down. You're actually you're in a fighting position with sandbag. You're leaned on the sandbag. You're in a hole. So there's Hagedorn, Hawkins, my battle buddy from the great state of North Carolina. There's Gavin over here, and I forgot. It's all alphabetical order. You remember all that. I'm in there with the rifle. I have no idea where the drill sergeant's at. So Gavin said something to me. So I gave Gavin the finger, or like that, like this. Behind, I remember the Kevlar helmet.
Yeah,
the Kevlar on, your face exposed, rifle's right here. Check this out. The drill sergeant kicks me in the back of the Kevlar. Kicks me. I go into the concrete deal, and my nose is bleeding profusely, like you and I'm bleeding all over the place. It's crazy. That's it. So I got blood everywhere. So here I am. That's great. I got blood everywhere, and I look behind me, and the drill sergeant's yelling at me. Like this, and I was like, "Oh shit!" Because I was actually kind of quiet, basic training, and I heard this. Ready for this one? And watch your lane. So I grab my rifle, and then the first target comes up. It's like 75. Next one's 120, 150, whatever. And so I'm knocking these down. I'm firing.
While your nose is still bleeding?
I'm bleeding all over the place. Over my M16A2, I think that's what it was. So I'm going to town. This is no shit. I swear to God, I shot expert. So I shot 30. I shot 37 out of 40 bleeding over the buttstock of my rifle. That's hardcore. I mean, shit.
Okay.
That's no low stress basic training shit.
No.
And I tell drill sergeants that, and they go, "Oh, you can't do that anymore, man. Can't do that anymore." But yeah, it happened to me by giving the finger to Gavin.
So I have found that most people, not all, absolutely not all, because I've seen those on the battlefield not perform under stress, but the majority of those in your platoon of 30, 32, at least 80, 85% of them, when the S hits the fan and they really get under stress, they rely on their training, they rely on communication with others, and they operate so much more efficiently than they do when things are calm, because when it's calm, their brain has time to wander.
Well, you're right.
And if they have time to get distracted and think about what's going on back home or think about, whatever the hell those guys think about.
So on the 4th of February, 1991, we were bombed by the French. I'm not making this up. It's all documented. They dropped 3 500-pound bombs alongside where we were mortarmen, and we were in a kind of an oasis thing close to the Iraqi border on the 4th of February. And there was
What year was this?
1991.
Okay, so you're right there in Desert Storm.
So 4th of February, 1991. 3 bombs. Boom, boom, boom. Everybody's shitting themselves. I mean, they're like, I have no idea what's going on. The best story is my buddy John Soklik said, I'll never forget this about you, Rich Hagedorn. I looked at you, we're all shitting our pants, and you're over there smiling. Yeah. Well, I said, we're in it now. This is great.
This is exciting. Yeah.
This is like Red Dawn. And so he starts laughing. But yeah, I guess I was smiling. I just said, well, this is it. But yeah, going back to the Gulf War, that 24th of February, when we went into Iraq and set up FOB Cobra, we had a rendezvous with Destiny. Schwarzkopf called us to lighten of the storm. That was a pretty big deal. We ran circles around the Iraqis. We were only 128 miles southeast of Baghdad, in the Euphrates River Valley, the 101st. And that was a big deal back then. And I always tell this story, and people don't get it. I said, the first bullet that came by that just snapped by the air. I thought they were shooting 22s at us. I really did. I said,
oh, really?
Are these guys shooting 22s? No, that was 7.62 by 39 snapping through the air. It just sounds like a 22.
I don't know. If it's pretty far away, I could see that.
Yeah.
Because when they're in close ambush, you can hear the difference between the 5.56 and the 7.62.
Yeah.
And so when most movies get it wrong. But after being in combat and watching Black Hawk Down again, they did a great job with the audio in that movie. Fantastic job.
Well, as a mortarman, the first time that I took that mortar round and went right down that tube, it sounded like nothing from the World War II movies that we watched.
Oh, yep. Yep. True story. True story. Yeah, the first deployment I went on, I was out in the middle of nowhere in eastern Afghanistan. We're staying on this tiny, tiny little compound where we literally just had barbed wire between us and the rest of Afghanistan. It was wild west. But there was a mortar team there who let all of us, younger privates and whatnot, sling rounds with them. And like, hey, just like put in the two, you have the one where you push the button and the one where you don't. I think it was 60 and 80, right?
Yeah, 81.
Yeah, so I got to sling both of those, and I'm a combat engineer. I don't know. I didn't get to do that in basic or anything like that. And so getting able to sling rounds at, people that we thought were snipers, dude, it was a blast. So I have a sentimental appreciation for mortarmen because they let me do that.
And we drove around in Humvees. So we were 81, so we had all of our stuff in the back of a Humvee back in the day. And so we would drive and we would do the one thing I always told people this was kind of cool. We do these missions where we would fly in by helicopter. And this is when we were ground mounted. And we would actually land in the area. We'd fire a mission. Next, the helicopters come back, pick us up again. We'd go to another location. The forward observers are marking this area. We'd fire every place we go to. We had ammunition waiting for us. Well, we would do almost like a circle, and we'd fire on this objective. It was incredible. By the end of the deal, we were right on the target. And for a section, all 4 guns firing, we were just blazing up the target. But how accurate that a good mortar team could be. Yeah, it's unbelievable. And I love that stuff. We went back to Fort Campbell for that 30th anniversary, deal. They had a thing at Fort Campbell. Yeah. And I got behind the M252 British mortar system, and I did a large deflection in 18 seconds. And the young kid goes, "Holy shit." And I'm like, yeah, I guess You just don't forget. You're right about the memory thing. You just don't forget. It stays in and everything. And I was,
you revert back to your training and just do it step by step because you're like you did it so many times that repetition freaking works.
So a lot of these young kids,
so Bourbon for Bacon, he's artillery because he wants that 155. Jerry Black, appreciate you being here, man. I don't think I shouted you out earlier, Jerry Black. He was also in Desert Storm. I've been talking to Jerry Black for well over a year now.
Hey, Jerry, one quick deal. With the 18th Airborne Corps, Hugh Shelton, at that time, he was a 1 or 2-star general. I drove him at Fort Campbell for an exercise with the 18th Airborne Corps. I'll never forget this. Hugh Shelton, I'm sure Jerry, you remember who he is. This guy's like 6'5". He was on the Joint Chiefs of Staff. Hugh Shelton, General Shelton, big Special Forces Ranger, Airborne, whole 9 yards and everything, complete badass. I'll never forget. He said to me, he goes, "You're my driver? Where are you from?" I said, "I'm from Nebraska, sir, General." And he goes, "The Cornhusker State." "Oh, yeah." And so I drove him back and forth for a 2 or 3 day exercise. But yeah, he was with the 18th Airborne Corps, General Hugh Shelton. I don't know if you remember him, Jerry. Just a fucking stud. That guy was cool as hell.
Nice. So Ben from the North has joined us. Thanks, buddy. How you doing?
All right.
Good evening. Good morning.
How you doing, man?
You talking about Kuwait kind of triggered my memory. I'm as the guy said at the beginning, I'm a civilian, so I'm eternally grateful for your service, sir.
Thanks, brother.
I was watching Desert Storm from a hospital bed when I was 9 years old, and you were saying you were around Kuwait, correct?
No, I was southeast of Baghdad on the Euphrates River Valley. If you look at the map, you know what I could do? Hold on, let me show you this. This would be actually kind of cool. So
I love that. Okay.
Here we go. So look at that map.
Wow.
Look at that map, everybody.
Hold on.
So this is me. Okay. This is me with the 101st Airborne Division. This is Baghdad up here, but this is FOB Cobra. And then we made our second here to the Euphrates River Valley.
Awesome.
So that's Desert Storm right there.
Yep.
And then this, guys, I got this signed by the artist. And I thought that was
really cool.
Pretty cool. And then the best, guys, I think you're going to like this. Here is my mortar platoon back in the day.
Oh, cool.
Let's do it that way. There's me right there.
Nice.
Sweet.
So then, there's some coins that you receive. I got a whole bunch of them, but it's neat to, old Army buddies, and, getting together with old Army buddies, and then what you used to look like way back in the day. So yeah, I think it's it's pretty cool to see a map like that to what happened back in the day, and this is just my little deal here. So yeah, I thought we'd share that kind of a cool thing.
I appreciate that.
Me too.
You absolutely do not get that on the regularly scheduled YouTube program. I tell you what.
No.
I appreciate you sharing that, Rich. That was really cool.
One thing too, with the 101st Airborne Division, we're there for 7 months, 2 weeks. And that 7 months, 2 weeks, we trained all the time to make sure. And by the time I was young, 19 going on 20-year-old kid. So our job was to make sure that we set up the forward operating base Cobra for the helicopters for the next mission. And also to cut this off with the French and the 82nd. Here's at Kuwait, and they're doing their deal here. There's nothing going to get past us. So it was just a lot of training and everything, but we couldn't wait to get back home. I mean, our deal was, you miss your mom, your dad, you miss all these people, and you can't wait to get back home. But we know that our next mission would be the west side of Baghdad. This is in 1991. Never happened. 100-hour deal. George Bush, back, and he said it's over with. We're done. And we liberated Kuwait. It's over with. By the way, let me tell you how we felt. So we felt pretty happy. But we thought that Saddam Hussein was dead. We thought that everything was all done. But we had no idea that, we liberated Kuwait. We hammered the fifth largest army in the world, thanks to the Air Force, your Air Force guy that's on. Thank you. You guys really helped us out a lot. But then that was it. We go back to Saudi Arabia. We clean vehicles up. We get on planes and we're back. I was home on the 16th of April is when we arrived back. 14th of April. And on the 16th of April, I was back at home with my family. So it was a big deal back then. Looking back on that now, I just, it seems like a million years ago. And I love my little, it's a little area there that I have of, different friends and all that. And it's good to remember the memories of all that.
Yep.
We didn't lose anybody. I was contracted with Sarin nerve agent, and I go to the VA and here in the United States. I go to the VA and I became 100% service disabled veteran. But there's a bunch of other stuff. But what was crazy was when the VA representative said, "You're contracted with Sarin nerve agent." And I said to her, "Is that bad?" And she goes, I've never seen it before. And so
yeah, but the word, it doesn't matter what the title is. The word nerve agent.
Oh yeah.
I love it. That's so awesome.
But yeah, it's funny is the VA stuff, everything, they take really good care of our veterans and all that stuff. So yeah, here in the United States, they do a good job with that. Going back to the Gulf War, that was to us, it was a really big deal back then. But this will make you laugh. I went home. I was home for 3 weeks. This is great now because for 7 months, 2 weeks, we're in the field. If you think about it, we're living under the stars.
Yeah.
So we do that. I'm home for 3 weeks. I gain a little bit of weight and everything. And then what happens to us? What happens? We go right back out in the field again. And we're training like we're going after the former Soviet Union, which was dissolved at that time and everything. But we're going after Warsaw Pact countries. We're fighting that old doctrine and everything. But yeah, we go right back into training. It was like we didn't miss a beat. You never know when something could happen. So we get back in the Gulf, take a few weeks off, spend time with the family, and we're right back into flying in helicopters and going on missions and doing all that stuff. And you never know what could happen. So we got a great military where we're always prepared. And now more than ever, what's going on in the world right now, kids today are serving today. They could be in for it. You never know. I mean, it's a crazy world we're in right now.
The one reason I jumped on was I was wanting to ask you, how much exposure did you have to Canadian forces?
So I have a couple different stories. We served when I was in the Pentagon for a couple meetings, and there were some guys from what was the unit that was there? We met those guys and they laughed their butts off because I told them that I would hunt in Yorkton, Saskatchewan and Manitoba. So I would go hunting there. And I said, "You're not going to believe this, but I told these guys, when I was there in the Pentagon, these Canadian soldiers, they love this story. I was there with Cabela's. You heard of Cabela's. It's an outdoor event. Cabela's. I used to work as a hunting guide part-time with Cabela's Outdoors Adventures. Well, the outfitter in Yorkton, is Manitoba. So we were in Selkirk, Manitoba. And they said that the door's open. There's a trailer there. There's 2 trailers. The trailer that's close to you is where we're going to be staying at. The door's open. So I went there, opened up the door, and it's locked. I'm like, what the heck? And it's getting cold. It's early October. We're hunting ducks and geese the next few days. I'm like, what the heck? So I'm like, let's see if one of the windows are open. So we went and checked on some windows, and there was a window open. And the lady that lived there watched me go through the window, right? She called the RCMPs, right? So she called the Royal Mounted Canadian Police. They show up, and they got their guns out. I open the door up. No, I'm telling you this right now. Jim Riley, Cabela's Outdoors Adventures, me, whatever. We got these Royal Mounted Canadian Police with their guns. And one guy thought he spoke French to us. And the other guy said, put your hands up. And I'm like, holy shit. He goes, where are your guns at? You have guns. And I'm like, we're hunters. We're here with, I forgot the outfitter's name, but the guy, we end up saying, we're here for the hunting camp. We're Americans. That's our rental car right there. Rental car. That's the Cabela's deal there. We'll end up letting us in. They put their guns away. But the Canadian, the military guys we were talking to, the Pentagon, they love that story. I'm like, well, just like American police, guys are breaking into this deal. They're going in through a window. We just want to get into the trailer, get our luggage in there. But it was the first trailer there. It was the only, you get it. But that was funny. Another thing too is we did some joint operations in Europe, and there were some Canadian soldiers that were there, and they were really cool. I mean, I think they were from Quebec, because those guys were speaking French. Because I spent time in Yorkton, Saskatchewan, Manitoba, way up north, Lake Manitoba. I love to fish there. If you ever fished there at all for the greenback walleye, as you can see back behind me, I love to fish for walleye in Canada too. I love it. But yeah, met some really cool people.
Okay. Yeah, I'm in Alberta. We're actually going to St. Catharines for a wedding next week. I haven't even been east of Alberta yet, so this is exciting. Thank you for what you said.
Hey, thank you. How cold is it up there? Is it getting cold?
The last 2 days, yeah. We just had our Canadian Thanksgiving, and it was in the 20s, so it was nice and warm. I heard that they were actually breaking records for maybe a day or two, but yeah, it's around 8 or 12 degrees Celsius now. So,
yeah. My gosh, wow.
Yeah,
it's coming.
Yeah, it's coming.
Yeah. Well,
all right. Thank you very much, sir.
Ben, if you want to hang out for the after party, you're more than welcome to hang out in the background. Yep. And in just a few minutes here, we're going to go back there. So thanks for coming on, buddy. You are on the wheel. So Ben from the north, I've tried to send him whiskey before, and it has not worked out for me. I don't know if you would have any success, but I have been able to mule him some stuff. But he's on the wheel regardless. I'm sure if I ship him just merchandise, it'd be fine. But so I wanted to highlight Jerry Black responded to your thing about the sarin nerve gas. I didn't know if you saw that or not.
So what they told me at the VA is they said that I had a heart attack right out of the Army. I'm probably giving you guys too much information. I had a heart attack when I left the Army a couple years later. They said that us Gulf War veterans have so much percentage more of having heart disease. I don't have any family history of heart disease. My grandparents, all of that. So they put a stent in the circumflex. Here's the Widowmaker down here. You have the Y that comes out. That my blockage was up there. So it was 97% blockage. I'm high tempo, guys. I when I was teaching in the Army, everything. And they said that a lot of that had to do with heart disease. And I remember too, all of our alarms going off because they blew up some areas up north of us with the 101st Airborne Division, where the 327, the always 1st Brigade was. That's where that came down. So all those alarms went off, all of that. But all of my guys that I served with, me, Steve, there's a couple other guys. We've all had we've all had heart attacks in our 40s and 50s.
Oh, wow. Wow. Jeez.
I know but it's funny as I don't know. I feel pretty damn good. I'm very active and everything.
Yeah.
But yeah, you never know what like Saddam talked about his hidden surprises. But there was those plants were up north or whatever that they bombed. That cloud came across us. So you never know. Yeah.
Yeah.
I hope you feel better. With all that.
With my generation going into the Afghanistan wars in the beginning, of course we all have hearing issues, but for the first 8 or 9 years in Afghanistan, we were burning our own shit with diesel, and so there's a lot of people with lung issues. A lot of people with PTS and post-traumatic stress and operational stress, which is something that came on later in my therapy days. They started talking about operational stress to where running at a high tempo, consecutive hours on a regular basis creates another kind of fraction in your brain or fracture in your brain where, as opposed to a traumatic incident that is a one-time thing, like a car crash or other things that create a traumatic incident in your brain, operational stress is running at a high tempo at a consistent basis for a long period of time, which can mimic post-traumatic stress. There's been a lot of sessions I've been in to get into deep in the weeds in that stuff. But it's similar but different with each generation of veterans. Like if you look at World War II, Korea, Vietnam, Desert Storm, Afghanistan, Iraq, each generation, it's a little bit different, but they have a lot of the same ingredients. You know what I mean? Like just like with whiskey or baking a pie or something, the ingredients are very similar, but there's something different in each one of them.
I remember the lady asked me about post-traumatic stress disorder, and I said, "No, I had a great time. It was a lot of fun." And then she was just typing away like that, and I was like, "Oh shit, that's the right thing to say." But then sleep. How about this one? Sleep apnea with that mask thing.
Oh, fuck that! I'm not sleeping with something on my face.
I do, and when I first got it, I was trying to talk like Bane from Batman.
Yeah,
why would a Batman? With that mask thing on. But I wear that thing.
You've merely adapted to the dark. I was born in it.
I was born in it. That's it. You got that mask on.
Yeah.
I wear that. Well, there's some days I don't, whatever. But when I did the test, I'll never forget this. This was before I was still in the Army, and because my wife told me that every once in a while I go, whatever in the middle of the night. She goes, I thought
like catching your breath, like you couldn't breathe.
She thought I was choking on my tongue or something.
Oh,
so
shit.
I go take. This is a great story. So I take the test. It sucks. Like you wouldn't believe that you're hooked up to all this shit. And they said, okay, you got sleep apnea thing. And I'm like, damn it, it's one more thing, whatever.
So you got a CPAP?
Oh, yeah, the VA. Okay. And no, I got it from Offutt Air Force Base, and I got one from the VA and all that. But this was crazy. Was when I do the VA deal, I never saw an attorney. I never saw anybody. I mean, my representative was the DAV, which I'm a lifetime member of the Disabled American Veterans. Yes. So when I did the VA deal, I get honest with you, I never did anything. They're like, okay, you're 100% service disabled veteran. You got this, you got parachute jumps, you have that, you have acid reflux, you have facial scars, you got this, and everything all added up to, their VA math at 300 and some percent, because the heart attack was 70, sleep apnea was 50. You add up all this stuff, and I was like, oh, that's cool. Well, I had no idea how cool it actually is, because I got 3 kids I have one kid's taking college classes. It's in high school. I got one at University of Nebraska at Lincoln. I got my wife's in school, and the VA pays for all of that.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So those are the kind of things that you don't understand how great it actually is. And then, even property taxes on this house. You don't pay property taxes with that, with being 100% service disabled veteran. There's friends of mine, I'm telling you right now, the pictures you saw, my buddy John Soklik, my buddy, I tell you guys, go see the VA. We were contracted with Sarin nerve agent. You might have a heart attack. You might have whatever. Go see the VA even after all these years. And I like the VA. I go there once a year. They take a shitload of blood from me, and they do a very good job to help me out and get me on the. Oh yeah, sleep apnea is the worst, and that test blows.
Oh yeah.
Oh my God! And then I drove home after that test. Hell, this is me driving home. Hell, I felt like I was loaded. So
right, yeah. All right, so we're coming up in 5 minutes. We'll be at 2 hours. I want to do the raffle giveaway. So all of you guys that joined us live, I want to give you a huge high five and thank you.
High five, King of the Castle.
Let's see, where's my wheel of names? And so. All right, so there was a lot of people interacting in the chat. There was a lot of people contributing to the conversation, having a great time. But unfortunately, a lot of you guys did not join in and jump on video. And so I've got Ben from the North, ZMan, and William Hall. So I will tell you right now that I'm going to send William Hall and Z-Man a sample of the 90 proof 6-year-old bourbon and the 4-year-old 86 proof 99% sweet corn whiskey, right? And so do you have 3 t-shirts you can throw out there?
Yeah, I just give me sizes and all that good stuff, and I'll get them sent out by even tomorrow or Monday.
Okay. All right, so William Hall, Z-Man, and Ben from the North, shoot me your information, and I will send it off to Rich so he can send you a shirt, because he has got some badass shirts. And
I like this one, with the flag on the side. It's soft as hell. These are good shirts.
All right. So all 3 of you guys that actually jumped on screen, that had that intestinal fortitude, that had the courage, they had the strength to come on screen live, which I know it's intimidating. I know it's anxiety building to actually jump on and be live in front of an audience across the world. Because as you saw, there's people in different countries and all over the states watching this. So I know it can be intimidating for some people, and I'm going to be empathetic towards that. I want to give you those words of affirmation and tell you, you jump on and just like have a sit down conversation with us, veterans, whiskey lovers. We just like to sit down, tell stories, and hang out and chit chat. You don't have to be intimidated to jump on live with us. And so this William Hull, Z-Man, Ben from the North, all 3 of you guys are going to get stuff. I'm telling you. Appreciate it.
Cheers, everybody. This was a great night. This was fun. The one thing too I want to do right now is here's to the greatest generation. Here's to many veterans out there. But here's to my grandfather, Carl Salnitro. He went up and down the California coastline looking for Japanese subs. He loved his service in the Coast Guard. He was so proud of me. He passed away, 17 years ago now. Every time I make spaghetti and meatballs, my red sauce, I think about him. He would be he'd be very proud of me. But here's to all the veterans. One more I want to throw out is Trisha Jameson, a good friend of mine who died in Iraq. She was our medic. Great. She was just an awesome girl, but she gave the ultimate sacrifice. I think about her often. But here's to all the veterans. Here's to all the veterans that gave the ultimate sacrifice. But here's to all of you tonight. Mark, you're a great American. Thanks for what you do. And here's to the greatest country we live in, the United States of America. God bless all of you in the USA. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Cheers to all of you guys.
What a great show.
Absolutely. All right. So if any of you guys watching want to join in the backstage shenanigans, click the join link and you can come backstage and chill with us for just a few minutes. If you are watching this on the replay, you see that the link to follow Soldier Valley Spirits on Instagram is in the description, as well as the link to their website. Go on there and see if they deliver spirits to your state. If not, you can probably get some of their merch, some of their swag. They got t-shirts, they got hats, all kinds of good stuff. Check out what they got going on at Soldier Valley Spirits. Rich, do you have anything that closing words you want to say to the audience watching us live and the people watching the replay?
If you could ever give away anything or help out veterans, there's a lot of veterans out there in need, help them out. I still today, anything I can do to help out, some veterans, friends of mine. If you have a hobby, like if you're a fisherman, if you're a hunter, and you take out some veteran or take them out doing something. One thing I do, I know you guys probably don't have these in your area. Maybe you do. Go find an area that's got morel mushrooms that grow in the late spring, early summer. I'll take some guys out and we'll go find morel mushrooms. I got a couple areas we go to, and it gets their mind off Paktika province and the Gardez, Afghanistan, or wherever, Vietnam, whatever they were at. It gets their mind off stuff, and it just gets them out of their norm. I like taking guys fishing, hunting, all that kind of stuff. But there's something you can involve a veteran with, or a golf deal, whatever you have that you could do, and involve veterans into it. It really makes you feel good to help them out or do something fun for them. I can tell you a lot of stories, not to bore you at, for me, 1 o'clock in the morning, but it really helps you out, and it makes them feel good too, that they're important by helping out a veteran, taking them on a fishing trip, hunting trip, or whatever hobby, the morel mushrooms, whatever, something that's cool, whatever, it makes you feel good.
Absolutely, 100% agree. One of the things that veterans miss the most, and the majority of veterans will tell you this, is the camaraderie in the community. And so here in the whiskey community, we have a lot of that kind of community and camaraderie. And so if any of you guys out there know a veteran that does not have a community to interact with on a regular basis, try to find a way to bring them in. You know what I'm saying? Because there's nothing worse than feeling like you're alone. And that's one of the things we try to promote here on Northwest Bourbon is you don't have to drink alone. And you don't have to get a DUI driving out somewhere and drinking at a bar and not getting what you're looking for, then driving home after you've been drinking. No, you can join us here on stream and watching, live streams or videos and having other people, like-minded individuals to drink with. Rich, thank you so much for joining us. If any of you guys in the live chat want to join in, click that join in link and join in the backstage shenanigans. We're going to cut off the live stream, and all of you guys watching the replay, I really appreciate you making this long, because we've been going for 2 hours now. And so if you're still here right now, You deserve a round of applause. Appreciate you. Earn, protect, enjoy. Cheers.